What's up everybody, it's Jeremy here from Ocean Bound, and today I wanted to talk about two wings that I was given a chance to demo for the last few weeks, and that is a V4 Cabrinha Mantis and a V2 Cabrinha Vision. Huge shout out to my friend Steven at Cabrinha and also Phil, my wing dealer at kitesite.net, for helping to make all of this happen. So I'm going to talk about both of these wings in the same video because I don't really have time to do a video on each one, but I'll try to keep this as brief and concise as possible because I got a lot to say, so let's just jump right in. The Mantis, they say, is for free ride, wave, and big air, whereas the Vision is more geared towards free ride, freestyle, and light winds. Things that both of these wings share. They both have a 55 gram per meter nano ripstop, and that's the same that F1 uses on their swing canopies and the CWC canopies and the trailing edges of the strike. It adds more weight, but it's a lot more durable. Nothing new, same canopy material as the V3 Mantis that I have. They've got these sprint valves, which are super easy for pumping and then also for repair. I actually had to repair a small leak on one of these, which is something that I usually find totally annoying to do, but it's actually quick and easy to replace these, and I just feel like they feel really secure. Also worth mentioning, they have a double connection hose from the strut to the leading edge. I'm not really sure why they do that. It obviously allows more transfer of the air, between the strut and the leading edge while you're riding. I don't know why you would have two just for inflating. In general, I think it's nice to have one pump wings, but I haven't had them in over a year, and it's just not a big deal for me whether a wing has them or not. The handles on these wings are awesome. I love them. It's my favorite part of the wing, and to me, they're the perfect thickness, which is small. They're a little squared off, like the F1 kind of soft handles. The soft rubber grip, is really comfortable in my hands. Because they're kind of small in diameter, they have a little bit of flex in high winds, but nothing that seems to impact the performance. On both wings, they maintain this continual line, which is kind of like a boom. So I dug that. It's really comfortable in my hands and my arms. A little different angle-wise than the V3 Mantis. And the handles are just so nice when you're moving your hands around trying to find different grips for light wind, heavy winds, pumping, and cranking up winds. But seriously, I love these Cabrinha handles. I prefer them over the duotone, which is kind of like oval handles. My friend has a unit, he prefers the unit handles, so to each their own. This year they added an impulse front handle, and it's great. I didn't know I needed something so stiff, but I love the way that you can move and position the wing around when you're doing turns and transitions like on waves. These wings both have convex struts now, which is just basically they made it a little less straight than the V3s. I like this change because I feel like it gives the canopy a little more shape for catching the winds and stability. And the windows on these are different than last year. I'm pretty indifferent on windows in general, but the position of these are great and I definitely prefer them. Also, you do not get leashes with these, but Cab does have a really nice waist leash that I got to check out. You should try that. Or you could always use your favorite third-party wing leash, like Keohi. Also, I love the color on all of these, just saying, and the bags on these are just awesome. It's the same bag that you have for the V3s, but when my wing becomes irreparable, I'm totally keeping the bag and will be using it. I think it's a great design. So now I want to talk about the differences between the Mantis and the Vision design-wise. The Vision has this high dihedral for upwind stability and reactive handling. The Mantis has a convex dihedral, which helps expand the range of the Mantis by providing an increased power to stability ratio. It also creates more steering stability of the wing while flying by the handle on the wave. I'm not really sure if I understand this that much, but what I think they're saying, it's like it's pre-bagged out. They say it gives consistent pressure on the canopy, both length and width-wise, for great rotations and switching tacks. I like it, but the question is, will it get more bagged out or not as these wings age, since it's already kind of has that shape built into it. Other things, the Mantis now recommends a 9 psi for pressure. It used to be 7.5, and the Vision is 10 psi. I love my V3 5-meter Mantis, which isn't the lightest wing, but it's still pretty light and it acts light. It weighs about 2.64 kilograms or 5.8 pounds. The new Mantises are just a hair more at 6 pounds. The Vision is virtually the same weight, and to contrast some other brands of the same size, a V4 Strike is 5.2 pounds, the Duotone unit is 5.9 pounds, the D-Lab is 4.6 pounds, a PPC M1 is 6.9 pounds, and a 5.3 meter XPS is 5.5 pounds. So it's kind of right in the range of everything else. The differences between the two Mantises, the V3 and the V4, design-wise, they're so similar. And in my opinion, they would ride really similar as well. But from what I can tell, the strut's different, and so the canopy kind of catches wind a little differently towards the trailing edge. I prefer this new design, but it's not a huge difference from the V3. And the V3 also seems to come a little more forward near the leading edge corners, whereas the V4 I feel like has a little less of that and a little more extension in the trailing edge of the canopy. To me, this felt like it had more power and better drift on the V4, but not a ton. Also, as I mentioned, this thing has a new front handle this year. I didn't mind the last one, but the new one's so solid, and I feel like the reaction that I can get while drifting has just been awesome. So like I said, these wings are just very similar, but I prefer the V4 in all aspects, even if it's just a slight amount. Now, the difference between the V4 Mantis and the V2 Vision. You know, the thing that sucks is all of the days that I rode the Vision, the wind was just crazy, insanely gusty. We rode, you know, lulls of 15, gusting to 30. Changing directions, chaotic, insane winds. 2 sessions I got to ride them back to back. One of them I was trading off with my buddy Eric on the water a couple times. As far as dihedral goes, the Vision has more, and that gives it some maybe directional stability. They kind of make it sound like the dihedral keeps the wingtips away from the water, but I was still burying the wingtips on these. When gust came, the Vision just felt like it wanted to pull down a little bit. My friends Eric and Chuck were both burying the wingtips as well. It's not a huge deal, and honestly I think the wingtips buried less than my V3 Strike does. The Mantis is definitely flatter and stiffer. The Mantis wingtips are a little beefier, which transfers really nicely when it comes to canopy stiffness and power, whereas the Vision's wingtips seem a little smaller and have more flex. The Vision has more flex in general. You know, I used an e-pump, so I know that they were like up to perfect pressure, and that Vision recommends 1 PSI more, but I felt like the Vision was a little more annoying getting it up in the lighter stuff. I just felt like I had to pump a lot more when it was light. The whole wing felt softer, whereas the Mantis just had more power, maybe more like instant power. I hear the Vision's great in big sizes, and they call it a light wind wing, so maybe the 5 meter is like the line, and above that it starts to excel with the bigger sizes and they get better for light wind. I'd personally grab the Mantis in light wind because I feel like it's got more grunt and it seems to go upwind better than the Vision. Both of these wings have different dihedrals and whatnot, but when flagged out, they're both really stable and drifted well. But I do prefer the Mantis because I feel like I could move it around and position it better. And I just want to say that honestly, both of these wings to me felt actually really similar to each other. If I had to pick one, it would definitely be the Mantis. It does everything I want it to do. It's not the lightest wing out there, but it does feel light when you're moving it around. And I love the way it flies. I love the way it flags out. I love the handles. It's got decent power. The jump is great, both like the lift and the hang time. It feels totally solid, but not in like an overbuilt way. So I'm just totally stoked on it. The Vision is probably, you know, better geared towards beginners, although I guess there's a lot of pros that are out there and prefer it. It's a little more forgiving, but I could totally make this one work in my quiver too. They're both cool wings. All right, so that's it. It's been a fun few weeks riding these wings, and I happen to really like them. I love my V3 Mantis, and maybe someday I'll be on a V4, but I can happily recommend the Mantis to people that ride similar to me, you know, who like love to ride waves and sending it out on the occasional jump. So that's it. A huge shout out again to my friends at Cabrinha for getting these wings in my hands, as well as my wing dealer Phil at kitesight.net. If you want to see some more of my videos and you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I try to upload videos every Friday. Drop me a comment, say hi, tell me if you've ridden any version of the Mantis or the Vision. Tell me what you think. Feel free to ask me any questions. And with that, I hope all of you are doing well out there. I'll see you soon on the flip, and I wish you all an awesome day. Later!